break the tie. Or we are going to break the tie.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a match after my own heart, and I feel like we're also going back in time a little bit as well. We got Snuffed Out versus Hard Knocks, and my favorite ships on grid. Maud, please tell me about what we've actually brought on both sides.
Yeah, so we see that Hard Knocks has brought 3 Typhoon fleet issues with rapid heavy missiles, a Magus, a Pontifex, 2 Deacons, a Blackbird, and a Hyena. Snuff bringing a very similar comp, but instead of Typhoon fleet issues, choosing to go with 2 Tempest fleet issues, a Vindicator, a Magus, Pontifex, Double Deacon, a Vengeance, a Vexer, and another Vengeance.
I gotta say, I love the Vindicator to bits, but I also feel like these Typhoon fleets have entered like they're like a bit late for the last AT because that was very much a common thing. But here we see triple Typhoon fleet versus Vindy Rush with Tempest fleets.
Yeah, and already we can see that Hard Knocks is not wanting to commit. Fleet issues, choosing to run away. We can see that the Vindicators are already streaming across the field. Some heavy rep bots getting deployed for Hard Knocks onto Finks Erebus being the primary. Meanwhile, Alex O'Mearis is taking the brunt of these rapid heavies, but we see that the Fleet Typhoon of Finks is now being held down by literally everything and will be the primary for Snuff. I mean, this is probably going to go to whether or not Alex can survive a full rapid heavy clip. And if
And
he
here's the
does,
interesting part as well. Look at Ice at Amar jamming out targets. If they can't kill him, he's going to be a thorn in the side of this Vindy Rush team. At the moment, they've tried and go for this Phoenix. Vindy went past him. Alex is still holding on, but that can't be. He can't do that forever. There's no way.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he just has to hold out for the duration of the rapid heavy clip, and he might just do that. So we saw that there were some jam attempts onto the battleship core. Keep in mind, those jams are just attempts; they're not necessarily successful. So far, it looks like Alex has survived long enough for the clip, and Finks is taking damage from the Vindicator. Appears his guns are on for the moment, and some autocannon damage from those 2 Tempest fleet issues.
Yeah, that ECM is trying his best. Notice that the support wing as well has pretty much been untouched. A Hyena is currently being, let's say, harassed, and a Vengeance is currently taking some damage. But at the moment, it literally is just a big face-to-face brawl: Typhoon fleet versus Tempest fleet.
Yeah, so Nuke Michael is not firing. Okay, now he is. So Nuke Michael has regained lock. Let's take a look at Alex O'Mearis. Alex is now firing, and Miss Kesha appears to be also not is actually not firing. So Blackbird doing a pretty good job being able to mitigate the damage of the Vindicator. Vindicator not able
Look at
to
Alex!
apply.
Look at
But
Alex!
yeah, but now Alex is going down. Phoenix is going down.
It's a race, baby. Come on.
Very even. So we also see that Snuff is getting some damage onto the Deacons of Foresight. Um, Alex will
Oh,
go
look at that
down in a
rep!
second
Look at
here,
that
but I
rep!
have to like the position Snuff is in.
Alex had like one extra rep cycle at the end there. He almost like managed to survive, but nope, he's gone. But they managed to buy a bit of time there. What are they going for next? Looks like a Deacon's being pounded, Avengers being pounded, but what else are they going for? Are the other Typhoon fleets nearby? I think they vamoosed. I think they left.
Yeah, so I really like what the Vengeances from Snuffed Out did. They got on top of the Deacon that was forced to come in to save the Typhoon fleet issue, and now Snuff is making the absolute right target call. They are choosing to go for the Hyena, get rid of the paint that can apply to any sort of Snuff support ships, and they're getting their Vengeances on top of Shari. Correct target calling from Snuffed Out, choosing to put the battleships onto Legion and get rid of the Deacon. And remember, once Hard Knocks has already lost a Typhoon, that's less rep drones that can be applied to Shari or to Legion.
Doing some like mental mass in my head. I believe the Typhoon fleet of Bounty Ben is actually currently tackled away. I think he's still in range, but he's pretty close to the edge of his rapid heavy range. They might
Yeah,
be able to actually like gauge the other one away from him.
yeah. Typhoon Ben, the Typhoon of Bounty Ben is still definitely within range. Let's take a look back at Shari here. Shari has no remote rep supporting him, being held down by a Magus and a Vengeance. Damage drones now being applied to him. Shari drops, so that's all the Logi gone for Hard Knocks. I have to like the position that you're in if you're Snuffed Out.
And a quick mention as well: good piloting from the battleships on Snuff's team because they are not orbiting with a micro warp on at 0. They are getting nearby, control spacing, and just shooting him as hard as they can. That is how you fly a battleship.
Yeah, meanwhile, we can see that the Hyena is just being picked apart by some flights of small drones. He will go down eventually, but right now, Legion is just being held at zero by those 90% Vindicator webs. And he looks like he's going to become 90% loot in short order as the Tempest Fleet issue and Vindicator are just eviscerating him. No remote bots really to support him anymore. No Logi. He's going to drop rather shortly. The Hyena drops. Snuff still has their logistics wing keeping Nuke Michael up. Just better target calling. I like the choice of the Blackbird from Hard Knocks, but it got a couple jam cycles, but it wasn't enough to save the Battleship core.
Like that, honestly, I kind of believe that the support wing was what won it here because these deacons are still alive and able to support their Tempest fleet. The Typhoon can't do anything, and that was honestly like at the start of the match, these deacons can't hold ships. But at the end of a match, if they're still alive, they can absolutely hold a ship against a weakened force. As this Typhoon fleet goes down to no response.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't help but feel like you're choosing to go with rapid heavies on a Typhoon fleet issue. It gets the bonus to application on cruises. It gets the application bonus on torpedoes. I really feel like had Hard Knocks gone for either of those two options, they would have been much better suited against the snuffed out battleships that they were facing. Once those clips ran out, Alex was able to survive, and Snuff just out traded it as a result.
Interesting as well is that these TIE fighters are kind of kitey, like they're a reasonably kitey comp, but they didn't really have any way of staying that way. They didn't have any real screen besides a single vengeance. They didn't really have any way of like sort of removing opposing screen. They were kind of just like, well, we can kite, but if you catch us, we're screwed. And as you see, they got caught and just got obliterated. They can't do anything to stop them.
Yeah, this was very nearly a mirror match in the support. We can see both teams going again for Megas Pontifex, Double Deacon, and Vengeance. I mean, it's a pretty standard kind of cookie cutter setup, but it's that for a reason. It works. It is able to keep your ships alive. You use the Vengeances to get on top of whatever you want to hit with those relatively slow moving battleships in the Tempest Fleet and the Vindicator. And then once you get on top of something, you're dumping well over nearly 6,000 damage with heat, and you're going to break things. And we saw that happen to Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the old school TIE fighter come back. You know, it feels like we're going back to AT-16 here, but unfortunately, it needs to stay in AT-16 because it doesn't have the damage to keep up anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that the kind of the desk has talked about. There is a place for Typhoon fleet issues, but they've just gradually kind of been pushed out of the scene by ships that just sort of do the role, but better. Um, they're just not quite worth it. I feel in this meta for the full, 63 points it takes to bring those three battleships.
Yeah, well, the Blackbird, he tried his absolute best to be a nuisance, but it didn't really help, unfortunately. I think he's actually dying slowly to where, yeah, Vengeance is slowly PvPing him up there. Never mind,
Yeah.
not anymore. The other guys are coming.
Yeah, you kind of have to laugh at kind of the irony of Snuffed Out of all alliances solo PvPing you, and then getting solo PvP'd in a Blackbird. Bit of karma for you. That Blackbird now going down, and the Typhoon fleet issue into fairly low armor. Well played by Snuff. I just believe that they had a more rounded comp and just executed better, and that showed in the arena.
Yep.
Well played.
Exactly, and just let everybody know, Vindicator is the Windicator. 100% win rate. Always bring it. You always win, as thus proven by this match. As Typhoon fleet's about to go pop.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not going to be embarrassed being in Snuffed Out, at least not this round. They'll manage to make themselves in the round of 32 with this victory. And with that, we'll send it back to the studio to break that one down for us.